Do you feel like you are trying to get somewhere in life but are spinning your wheels? You're stuck, and no matter how hard you want to accomplish your goals, it's like you just can't bring yourself to accomplish them? I mean, how often, for example, do we say that we want to have really good friendships in our lives, but when we look at the friend group we're currently hanging out with, none of them are fulfilling relationships? Or we decide, I really want to be able to develop my ministry and start teaching other people how to have a relationship with Christ. Yet every time we get into a conversation with somebody, we revert to old topics, old ideas, and old ways of thinking. And some of us actually want to do something with our lives, with our jobs, our careers, business area. And it's like we're stuck. We're in this current job that we hate and we're miserable. And no matter what we do, it's like we can't get from here to there. I try journaling. I try listening to the right affirmations. I try reading the right books. I try doing the right amount of exercises. But no matter how hard I spin my wheels, I just keep getting the same results. When I was thinking about this for my own life, though, I realized that this doesn't have to be the case. I don't have to stay stuck in my current context if I don't want to any longer. When it hit me was when I saw that Paul said in Philippians 3:13 and 14, which says, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which God, through Christ Jesus, is calling us." Paul said basically, above all else, the number one thing I focus on is making sure that I forget what's behind me and focus on what's in front of me. So in thinking about this and researching it for my own life, I came to this understanding that most of us have a present that is driven from our past. So for example, when I said that we want this great group of friends, but the current friendships we're in are just not fulfilling, it is because along the journey of life, we pick up friendships, we meet people, and it's right in that context at the time, but then as time goes on, we never reassess. It's just our present becomes the dumping ground for all of our past life. So we're in the job we're in because of the application we put in last month, last year, last decade. We're in the gym we're in the church we're in the group we're in everything in our lives right now because of the events of our past. And then we say we want this future, this great future, this change, all these different things, yet we just keep carrying all the weight that is accumulated throughout the weeks and months and years, and it's too heavy for us to bring with us into that future. And so the past is driving the present, and the present circumstances are driving the future that we will obtain in spite of the future we say we want to obtain. And what the Apostle Paul said was, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to forget the past, and I'm going to look at this future that I'm heading toward. I'm going to look at the goal, the end of the race. And so what is the end of your race? Who has God called you to be? What does that person look like, that future you, next week, next month, next year, in a decade from now? Who has God created you to ultimately become? What does that person's friend group look like? What belief systems do they have? How are they working out? What books are they reading? What activities are they doing on their job and their business? What are the things they're praying about? How often does that person fast? What Paul said was, I'm not going to let everything that I've brought with me to this point dictate what I'm doing now. I'm going to look at that future Paul, and I'm going to allow that to shape my present. So in other words, instead of the past driving the present, he said, I'm going to let the future drive the present. This is what the writer of Hebrews tapped into when he said in chapter 12, verse 1, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge cloud of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us." In other words, God has a destination for your life, for your family, for your ministry, your purpose, your calling. God has a plan for you, but you're stuck where you're at because you're trying to get to that plan with all this weight. Even the sin that was passed down from generations that you learn that you have habitually done. He says, look, throw all that off. Get rid of that boyfriend, that girlfriend, that goal, that context, that habit. Get out of your life all the things that are stopping you from becoming who God is calling you to be. This is so challenging, especially for Americans who are taught to always finish what you start. Look, always finish what you start when it comes to what's on your plate, and all the things that you have on your to-do list is a recipe for gaining weight and not getting much done. Winners quit all the time. We just quit the right things. So if it's a God thing for this context, keep it. But if it's just something that you are doing because you've been doing it, because it's accumulated throughout your life, you've got to strip that identity off in order to become who God is calling you to be. So if there's one thing to do from watching this video, it is to forget the past, look ahead to what God is calling you to, and allow that future to define your current circumstances rather than allowing your past to do it for you. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the books I've published for you, which are linked down in the description below, and subscribe to the community if you haven't done so already, so we can catch each other in the next video together.